Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video. This is another video on books that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. I have, 6 books here, so it shouldn't be a terribly long video. So I'll talk about them and I'll show them to you. So we'll start off with some X-Men. You know, X-Men's really hot, right? Everybody wants X-Men 1. Everybody wants those Silver Age, well, not all the Silver Age X-Men. Usually X-Men 1 through 20, and then there's a couple of pockets throughout the rest of the Silver Age where people are trying to get right now. Collectors are trying to get their X-Men books. But here's one that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. And right now, I think some of these books, as of July 2021, are fairly cheap. Okay, I don't think they're too terribly expensive, but I do think that some of them have the potential to go up a little bit. I'm not saying that they're going to go up to hundreds upon hundreds of dollars, but you get them cheap enough right now if you want to get them so that you don't have to pay high price for them if they do go up, and it's not much of a risk. So we'll start off with the Uncanny X-Men number 158. The significance of this book is that it's the first time Rogue is in the Uncanny X-Men. She later comes back in issue 171 and joins the team, and that's the beginning of her as an X-person rather. And it's off to the races there. But she appeared in 158, and I do hear people talk about obviously Avengers Annual number 1, Avengers Annual 10, excuse me. But I also hear people talk about X-Men 171, Rogue joining and all that stuff, but I don't hear too much about that one. And like the 171, it's relatively cheap, and I think it's worth getting for anybody that's really interested in collecting some of those key X-Men books that are not necessarily a first appearance, but still pretty important. Whether it's the first time they show up in a title, he or she shows up in a title, or joins a team. You know, as these books potentially go up, as X-Men potentially goes up, the tide tends to raise for a lot of key books. And even though that might be considered a very minor key, it's a cheap key, it's a key worth getting that could potentially go up in value. And I can't tell you enough, before I get to that book, how many times people complain about when these books go up in value. Like, oh man, that book, you could get that for $5 all day, every day, or $10 all day, every day, or a dollar all day, every day. Well, and now it's $100, now it's $150, now it's $75, whatever it is, a lot more than what it was going for many years. Well, then why didn't you buy it then? So that's what I mean when it comes to something like this. Yeah, it might be cheap now, but it might go up to a price that you may not want to pay for. A price that you're complaining about, that this book used to be $20 or $30 for the longest time. Well, maybe now's the time to get it, and it's at low risk. It's not that expensive, right? And if you're somebody that's sort of a completionist, not necessarily you want to complete your whole X-Men run, but you want to try to complete key X-Men books, that might be a book that, is on the list. It might be at the bottom of the list, but it might be worth getting now. And here's another X-Men book that I think not a lot of people are talking about. I mean, there's always a little bit of grumbling. I don't want to say that nobody is talking about any of these, because that's not always true. But this is not necessarily a book that I see too often people talking about getting real soon. But I think it might be worth looking into. X-Men number 53. This is the first full appearance of Onslaught. Now, why would you want to get the first full appearance of Onslaught? Well, I think he's a pretty cool character. And, I just got finished watching the Loki TV series. And, I don't want to say, I'm not giving you too many spoilers, but I think everybody pretty much knows that it's going in the direction, or at least the Marvel Universe seems to be going in a direction where there are multiverses. Okay, multiple versions of Loki, multiple versions of the Avengers, the multiple versions of this character, that character across dimensions, and they're going to somehow converge in some way or another. Well, Onslaught and the X-Men may very well be part of a certain multiverse that you may see down the line, whether it's in a Disney Plus TV series or in a movie. So, although it may not go to super heights, I know a lot of people say, well, I don't like getting villains because then it goes down in value. Well, of course, if you want to fund other books, if you see the first nice copy of the first full appearance of Onslaught for like $10, $15, and it could potentially go up to over $100, well, that's when you sell it then, right? You don't keep it. You sell it before the movie or the TV series comes out, if that's what you want to do. But it's worth looking into, that book and some of the others here. Now, I don't think I covered these two. If I did, I apologize. But I think these are definitely, again, worth looking into as they're related to the X-Men universe. We have Alpha Flight number 33, and then you have Alpha Flight number 34. What's the significance of these two? The first appearance of Lady Deathstrike. I might have covered these two books in another video. I just don't remember. But if I did, but you didn't see it, well, now you see it now. You see it here. Again, Lady Deathstrike, I think she's a pretty cool villain, and it's not too hard to believe that Lady Deathstrike may appear in an X-Men TV series or an X-Men movie to some capacity. I'm not saying that the character may not be one and done, but you could still get her books, her first appearances, first appearance and first full appearance, relatively cheap right now, at a pretty good grade too. Last two. Now I've talked about issue 67 of this, but I didn't really mention too much about this one. Fantastic Four number 66. Now, although Adam Warlock does not show up in this issue, his origin is in that issue. With the cocoon and all that stuff. And I think it's a little underrated because I think a lot of people want the 67, rightfully so, and then they want the Thor 165 and all of that. But you should probably pay attention a little bit to the 66 because you can get a decent grade fairly cheap. That book is not hundreds upon hundreds of dollars unless you're looking for 9s or some version of a 9 point whatever. But if you're looking to get maybe a 6.0 or 7.0, it's not that expensive, and it just might be worth getting, especially if Adam Warlock takes off, because I think that's going to raise the tide of all Adam Warlock early appearances, whether it's his first time he's called Adam Warlock in Marvel Premiere #1, or in his debut, his own series, The Power of Warlock, his first appearance, the cameo appearance, the first full appearance, you name it. I think that's included in that. So it might just be worth getting into. And the last book for this video is another one that I don't think too many people are paying attention to, but I definitely see this character in some form. Maybe on a Marvel TV series. That's just me. I could be wrong, but it's not that expensive. There are many variants of this that can be pricey. There's no doubt about that. But if you're just looking to get his first appearance, we have it right here. The Sentry, #1, the first appearance of the Sentry. This is a very powerful Marvel character in the vein of Superman. Now, I don't know if he's as strong as Superman or the Hulk, but he's pretty powerful. And definitely, I think, a character that you might see in a TV series. Not necessarily that he's going to get his own series, but you might see down the line. Because I think Marvel is opening the doors to everybody. All right? I don't think anything is too unbelievable. It's just too unbelievable that this character would be on a TV show and a movie. I think the doors are opening for a lot of characters that I think a lot of people are not paying attention to or not really talking about. And I think the Sentry, among all the other things that I mentioned, talked about characters in this video, are some of them. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to be coming out with another one of these videos, probably showcase another 6 books that I don't think are getting that much attention. So I'll be happy to share those with you and to hear what you think about it in the comments. Take care, everybody.